Tonight, in this edition of the primetime newscast on Equinox Television, Elections Cameroon begins annual revision of the electoral register without an electoral calendar. The General Manager of Elections Cameroon, Abdoulaye Babale, is going to be telling us in this newscast that the organ is ready at any time this 2018 to organize an election. Also, we talk about the prolongation of the process of registration of the General Certificate of Education examinations for February 2018. The measure by the Minister of Secondary Education is coming as a result of the current socio-political crisis rocking the northwest and the southwest regions of Cameroon. Those are headlines. Stay with us for the details. We shall be right back. Good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us in this edition of the primetime newscast on Equinox Television. Yesterday, we told you about a ghastly road accident that took place at Rond-Point CCC here in the country's economic capital, Douala. One person finally gave up the ghost in hospital where he was rushed to for medical attention. The accident occurred yesterday evening at Carrefour CCC when the driver of a heavy-duty truck lost control and victimized several persons. Several persons were equally injured as a result of the said road accident. Agents of the Douala City Council today succeeded to pull out the truck from a private residence, as innocent as it tells us in the following report.
Kamgang Enens, a motorcycle rider, is the unfortunate victim of the ghastly truck accident which occurred Tuesday evening at Carrefour CCC in the Douala 3 subdivision. Which occurred Tuesday evening at Carrefour CCC in the Douala 3 subdivision. Attempts to save his life by medical personnel at the Lakintini Hospital were fruitless. Sources hint he was crossed while trekking by the driver that lost control of the truck and crashed into a crowd, then rammed a section of a home. 4 casualties are currently under intense medical care in the same hospital. A tragic incident which traumatized surrounding residents throughout the night.
J'avais toujours l'impression que je suis en train de vivre ce cauchemar.
Nous avons dormi au salon.
Descending to the scene this Thursday, inhabitants report of bandits who attempted to steal the battery of the truck and to empty its petrol tank.
On a attrapé même un qui essayait d'enlever la batterie du camion.
They did not succeed.
Nous avons pu veiller là juste pour qu'il n'y ait pas de vol.
The truck that was still stationed there in the morning hours was later put out of the worked home by agents from the Douala City Council. Two motorcycles were retrieved useless beneath the heavy-duty truck. It is not clear when dust will finally settle at Carrefour CCC.
Innocent as they're reporting now, Cameroonians working at the Japoma Stadium construction site here in the economic capital, Douala, decrying the maltreatment by their fellow compatriots managing subcontracting company in charge of the recruitment and management of over 550 local workers unable to continue bearing the unpleasant situation. They actually downed 150 local workers unable to continue bearing the unpleasant situation. They actually downed their tools today, demanding for the improvement of their working conditions. Babla Jonathan tells us more in this report.
More than 500 Cameroonian employees working on the Japoma Stadium construction site on the outskirts of Cameroon's economic capital, Douala.
Même les simples soins médicaux, nous ne bénéficions pas.
They are lamenting over poor working conditions, low pay, non-respect of contract terms, and very limited medical care. They went on strike since the early hours of Wednesday, but by the end of the day,
La gendarmerie nous a brutalisé le matin.
Some of them had been reportedly compelled by gendarmes and police officers to return to work.
On va dire, si vous ne travaillez pas, il y aura des arrestations, et ils ont paniqué.
Some of them said The subcontracting Cameroonian company in charge of their recruitment and management threatened to dismiss them if they don't resume work immediately. Others are persisting in the strike action despite the threat. But for how long will they continue withstanding the pressure? And when will their problems be solved? Difficult to tell. Despite all efforts to get their stance on the grievances of the angry workers, officials of the company will not speak to us. In the meantime, work is advancing at a slow pace on the construction site of the 50,000 capacity stadium that will receive some encounters of the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations.
And as a result of the situation at the Japoma construction stadium in the economic capital Douala, some opposition leaders are now questioning the possibilities of Cameroon organizing the 2019 African Cup of Nations game. What has become of the funds Cameroon got after winning international competitions? That is the question on the lips of several opposition leaders who hold that Cameroon might not be able to meet is the question on the lips of several opposition leaders who hold that Cameroon might not be able to meet the deadline for the construction of the 2019 AFCON projects because funds are not used rather for the purpose for which they were intended. Let's now have a reaction of the chairman of the Social Democratic Front, Nijan Frundi, is going to be reacting on that aspect.
He's talking about the hosting of the football match. We'll be ready to host the sports. We look back into all the participation of Cameroon and in the international matches. There's so much money came in. The other countries had their monies and they built stadiums in their country. Cameroon chopped their monies. Today is the government trying to say we're building this, we've ordered the equipment, they are coming. And when you see how much Cameroon would build one stadium, in the other countries, the stadiums that were built, they spent far less money and they did a good job. Cameroon will come up with double.
And the electoral calendar is still not known to the public, whereas Cameroonians are already into the electoral year. Elections Cameroon, which is the body in charge of organizing elections in Cameroon, is also ignorant of the electoral calendar. But the organ's Director General Abdoulaye Babale told reporters in Yaoundé today that Elections Cameroon is ready to conduct the elections at all times. He was speaking as the process to enroll voters on the electoral register started in the nation's capital and across the national territory today. And let's hear him in the following excerpt.
You are given the number of the election expected in 2018. In my capacity of Director General of Elections, I will say that we are ready, whatever the number of, I will say that we are ready, whatever the number of elections we may have in 2018. I would like to say that either 2, 3, 4, or even more, if the decision is taken. You visited our 3 council branches of Yaoundé. You saw that really the voters' material, the voting material is in each and every visited council branch. And we are also ready. We know the number lacking. We have taken appropriate dispositions to be ready before the DG.
And the Director General of the Elections Governing Body, Abdoulaye Babale, actually visited some offices in Yaoundé today to evaluate activities on day 1 as far as the registration process is concerned. He said that the body would ensure that more potential voters are enrolled before the kickoff of elections in Cameroon. It should be noted that some 113,600 voters have so far been registered in the center region of Cameroon. That was as far as 2017. Is concerned. Let's listen to him once again. Abdoulaye Babale was speaking to our reporter Ike Cyril.
Visit of Yaoundé 2, Yaoundé 6 and Yaoundé 3 council branches. We have noticed that there are many citizens who didn't register in 2017 who are ready, we notice that the number of youth or young Cameroonians is higher in 2018 than in 2017. What we have noticed also is that the gender responded positively. We met them. There were more than men in our responded positively. We met them. There were more than men in our different council branches which we visited. We hope that in 2018 we are going to register more and more young citizens, more and more women. We may stop registering Cameroonians when the head of state will call upon the voters to go and vote. So it depends on the date of the decision taken by the head of state.
And with the current socio-political tension rocking the northwest and the southwest regions of Cameroon, opposition leaders have asked to know whether the country is going to be able to organize a hitch-free election. The fairness and transparency of the polls has equally been put to question by the chairman of the Social Democratic Front, Nigerian Frundi. In the following excerpts, is going to be talking about the elections in Cameroon and the fight against Boko Haram militants that the head of state actually talked about in his end-of-year address to the nation. According to the chairman, the fight against Boko Haram in the far north region has not been transparent so far. He indicated that funds that were contributed by the Social Democratic Front supporters and some Cameroonians have so far never been accounted for. Let's hear him in the following excerpts.
With all these things encircling us, are we ready for elections? These are the people who tell him that you've never organized any free, fair, transparent elections. You've never come up with any laws that will govern elections. It's the SDF that fought in Cameroon, marched on the street before they came up with transparent ballot boxes, before we came up with computerization, we had to carry the computers on the roads and all the like. The SDF contributed financially. The SDF contributed financially and materially to the soldiers in the hospital in Yaoundé and those on the field. But till today, all of us Cameroonians who contributed, nobody has an account, an idea of how much was contributed, how much was sent to the field, how the food was spent, where the food was sent. There's no accountability in Cameroon. And I bet you that with all that, Cameroonians came out as one person to help the forces on the field. Mr. Biya did not show that to first appreciate, because you go ask him, he tells you that he's commander-in-chief of the armed forces and he fought the war with the soldiers. If they are still taking hostages in the eastern borders, I do not know what is still happening there. And you see, Cameroon has problems in the eastern borders, has problems in the north, has problems in the north-southwest, and all these problems put together. And I think he went ahead to talk about elections.
We now talk academics candidates who would be sitting in for the 2018 session of the General Certificate of Education examination have close to 1 more month to get themselves registered. The registrar of the GCE, but Humphrey Ekema Monono, has admitted that the registration deadline for the 2018 session of the GCE was extended due to the limited number of registered candidates. Candidates now have up to the 2nd of February 2018 to get themselves registered. A release yesterday by the Secondary Education Minister indicated that the registration deadline was prolonged due to the prevailing situation in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon in 2007. Due to the prevailing situation in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon in 2017, the registration deadline was extended at least 3 times due to the limited number of candidates that got themselves registered. The registrar of the GC body equally said that at least 100,000 candidates have registered so far, and that the board intends to higher or increase the figures before February 2nd deadline. We talk about something else. In the southwest region of Cameroon, livestock farmers in Moyoka, that is in the Fako division, have revealed that the annual sum of 1 million francs CF is sent by the Minister for Livestock as a take-home package for the best farm competition at the end of competitions that are organized in the said subdivision end up in private pockets. They were speaking during another ceremony that was launched this year 2000 or last year 2017. Derek Dato tells us more in the following report.
Each year, the Cameroon Minister of Livestock, Fishery and Animal Industry send 1 million francs CFA to each subdivision as the prize for a competition among livestock farmers known as Best Farm Competition. But in Moyoka subdivision, this money usually end up in private pocket.
You see, people have been here and not getting it off between prices for best farmer.
I'm here for long, but we have never seen this.
The coming of Madame Zinge Claire as the subdivisional delegate of livestock farmers say the change they have been waiting for has finally come.
We thank mostly the subdivisional delegate for livestock for Moyoka subdivision for this initiative, because people have been here, but we have never seen this. It is like somebody can say that change is necessary.
What is permanent and change? So that is it.
It is like somebody can say that change is necessary.
What is permanent and change? So that the change has come. We are very happy for the initiative by the government, and somebody implement it in the grassroots. Okay. Who give up there but don't implement it in the grassroots? This time we got it at the grassroots.
And before the representative of the divisional officer and the mayor of Moyoka subdivision, selected farmers were handed their cash prizes and certificate of excellence.
Okay, so that we're giving the boss staff of the boss who are doing farming and no farming.
Madame Zinge Claire, the new subdivisional delegate of livestock, reminded the Moyoka farmers why the Minister of Livestock launched such a program.
The ministry is trying to make such a way that the activity that the fish bearer, the fish pond, should be many, so that can be able to produce our own fish.
At the moment, Moyoka subdivision produces an approximately 3 tons of fish annually, which is still far below the demand of the Moyoka population.
The reporting that brings us to the end of this edition of the Primetime Newscast on EQUINOXE Television. Viewers, so thank you so much for joining us. Wishing you a blessed stay in the company of our programs. Until we meet again, goodbye.